like clock. I can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop.
Boruto episode 169 might be one of the best well-rounded episodes of Boruto that we've seen in a very long time. There's action scenes, there's information, it was very funny in some periods of the episode. It was just a full, well-rounded episode. Now, first things first I do want to talk about is Boruto Riders keeping the main thing the main thing. The Kado organization right now, that is the main thing, and very early in the episode, they gave us that scene with Konohamaru and mugino basically investigating the scientists and looking for the Hachirama cells, and of course, that has something to do with the Kado organization. That is one of the main reasons why a lot of people like Naruto Shippuden. They kept the main thing, of course excluding all of the filler, but regardless, the Akatsuki was always the main thing, and the Akatsuki was always the center focus of that anime. If Boruto can do the similar thing with the Kado organization, just keeping the main thing, I think that would definitely make the anime a lot better. Now in this episode, we've seen the scientists from the Hidden Stone Village. Now once we seen that, I was absolutely dumbfounded. I didn't really think that we'd see him this early, but of course it definitely does make sense, mainly because we are getting a lot deeper into the Kado organization. Now specifically during that arc, he pretty much just flat out disappeared. Now during that time, the popular theory is the fact that the Kado organization actually kidnapped him. I thought that, and plenty of other YouTubers thought that as well, and of course a lot of the viewers out there thought that as well. It turns out that we might have actually been right. Now we don't actually know if he was completely kidnapped, but what we know right now is that he is actually an outsider of the Kado organization, and he's actually doing experiments for the Kado organization. Now the thing that he does specialize in is synthetic human beings, and we understand from the manga that the Kado organization also has an interest in synthetic human beings as well. Now I'm not necessarily going to spoil a lot of things, but regardless, we understand that he could possibly have played a very huge role in that development. At this point, he's knee deep, possibly even titty deep in the Kado organization, and I really hope, and I think we are going to get a lot more information about specifically what he's doing inside the Kado organization. But off of that point, the main draw to this episode was of course Deepa versus Shinki and Shikadai's team. I don't know about you guys, but every single time I see Deepa, I just get that much more excited. Now of course, the first thing that we did see Deepa in, he's basically eating at the restaurant, and I think that this is going to be like a theme with Deepa's character. Like every time we see Deepa's character after a long hiatus, he's probably going to be eating at a restaurant, then he's probably going to actually kill the people that were actually in the restaurant. It was super entertaining just seeing Deepa in this episode, and also it just built the mystique of Deepa walking out of a restaurant where everything in there was just a complete massacre. It looked terrible, and of course Shikadai and everybody else understood that. Now during the actual battle, Deepa did exactly what I thought that he would do. He basically destroyed Shikadai and Shinki's team. Flat out. And I think a lot of people are probably going to get a little bit mad, mainly because Shinki was built up as this very strong character. Of course, I don't necessarily want to call Shinki a Genin, mainly because we understand even in prime Naruto times, Shinki's talent level is way beyond a Genin's talent level. But regardless, I think Deepa did exactly what he's supposed to do. The most surprising part about this, though, for a lot of people out there is the fact that Deepa was absolutely toying with Shinki's defense. If you guys don't necessarily remember, one of the strongest defenses in Naruto was Goddess Sand, and Shinki's Iron Sand, as of right now, is stronger than Goddess Sand, and Deepa was just absolutely playing with that sand. And to be honest, I might even go out on the edge and say Deepa might actually be able to crack Sasuke Susanoo as of right now. I mean, they weren't even able to get close to Deepa. Deepa just shrugged off the shadow possession jutsu like it was nothing, just punched Chocho out the way and just stood still and completely ate one of Shinki's attacks. Shinki completely rocked Urashiki, and Deepa in this situation just completely ate that ability. Now I know a lot of people were thinking that Deepa was probably going to be another Urashiki. I think at this particular point, clearly Deepa is definitely not Urashiki, and the Boruto Riders are definitely doing Deepa all the justice that he does deserve. And it's absolutely insane because at this point, I think we can actually confidently say that this regular ninja that we pretty much had no knowledge of before is actually stronger than the Otsutsuki member. And it just shows you guys how strong the other members in the Kado organization can possibly actually be as well. Now, towards the end of the battle, it was a little bit weird. It was a little bit weird, man, because Deepa felt a little bit distant. He didn't necessarily finish the battle, and he didn't necessarily finish the mission. I think one of the biggest parts about it is the fact that Deepa was completely uninterested. He didn't really think that this regular puppet could pretty much do anything, and that's probably why he didn't really get mad when Shinki just completely destroyed the puppet. Now another thing is the fact that Deepa might have actually been out of energy. If you guys do recall, when Deepa looked at it in his hand was actually steaming. Now that right there might be a telltale sign that Deepa can't necessarily form those carbon bonds for an infinite amount of time. Now I do want to point out, I think 1000% if Deepa felt the need to actually finish the fight, felt the need to actually destroy them and kill them or whatever, he could have definitely done so, mainly because the only hand that was steaming was his right hand. What we've seen from Deepa in the past episodes, and even in this episode right here when he actually attacked Inojin, he's also actually able to form those carbon bonds with his left hand as well. So even though his right hand was completely out of commission, which was the hand that he was using to basically toy with Shinki's defense, he could have still easily used his left hand as well. And oh, by the way, let's not forget about his taijutsu ability as well. He hits extremely hard even without the carbon bonds coating his fist. But it really was weird seeing Deepa just super uninterested during this episode, because if you guys do recall, the first time that we did see Deepa, he was super excited to fight, to the point where he was actually disappointed that he wasn't necessarily able to go after Mitsuki to finish the battle, because he then had to retrieve the Hachirama cell. So just seeing him this uninterested was super surprising. I think that the Boruto writers are going to definitely give us some reasons upon why he was this uninterested. Another thing that we found out from this episode is the fact that Boruto's Rasengan isn't necessarily completely finished. From what we've seen in the last episode, it did seem like Boruto actually had a breakthrough with his Rasengan, but to be honest, it seems just as powerful as the vanishing Rasengan. Of course, because he's at the impasse, I do expect him to actually gain a little bit more to it, and from what we see in the preview for the next episode, Boruto did actually gain some improvements on that Rasengan. Now to wrap this up real quick, again, I thought this episode was definitely a very good episode. It was extremely well rounded, a lot of action, a lot of information, and it was also funny as well. I do want to point out in the next episode, we don't necessarily get any information about the Kado organization or Deepa or Victor or anything like that, but I strongly doubt that we're going to go a full episode at this particular point without any information about the Kado organization, mainly because in the last couple of episodes, the Boruto writers, as I said, is keeping the main thing, and I think that's definitely what they have to do at this particular point in the Boruto anime, and I really love that about that. But let me know what you guys think about this episode in the comment section below, and give me your opinion. Did you guys enjoy it as much as I did, and what were your thoughts about Deepa in this actual episode? Do you guys think that we actually seen a little bit of a weakness in Deepa's actual fighting ability? But it's been your boy Baara B, and we out.
It's a knife.